What's happening? How are you? Hey, what's going on, everybody? How are you? Welcome to the show. This is Alone Together Pittsburgh, Alone Together Streaming. I am your host, Patrick Jordan. We are here rounding out our 83rd episode and capping off week 25 of this show that we thought was going to go for about 4 to 8 weeks. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for welcoming us into your homes and your mobile devices. Yeah, it's been a crazy week here for us on the show. We had a great show on Wednesday. If you want to go back and watch it, it was killer. We had the people from the Hideaway Co. and Aaron Hart from Farm to Table. Sherry Goldstein gave us a tour of her new space. Last night we had Holt McCallany, star of Mindhunter and probably a million other movies and TV shows you've seen. We had his impromptu birthday party on the show last night, and Kate Romaine told us what she ate. And tonight we are back again with some regular contributors. Natalie Bencivenga and Dave Bracey are going to be with us tonight. But thank you for joining us. If it's your first time. We're obviously not journalists. We started doing this show as a way to keep a sense of community going during the pandemic, and we're still here. A couple pieces of housekeeping for you. If it's your first time watching, you'll notice trickling below the screen here below me, that is our Venmo, and it's @TogetherPGH. If you'd like to kick in a couple of bucks to us, anything is greatly appreciated. $1, $3, $5. If you want to give something with a few numbers attached to it, we would greatly appreciate it. All the money goes to the artists involved with the show each particular night. We also have a podcast version of the show, and that will be coming out the day after, so it's an audio-only version. So if you're into the show, you want to see it other times, you want to do it when you're at the gym, whenever you're driving in your car, you can listen to us there. The podcast, we have a podcast. Search Alone Together Pittsburgh where you can get your podcasts. So that said, there's a couple other things that we have here on the show. We started a thing called the Jagoff poll. Okay, so we started that right back in March when March Madness was canceled. We wanted our own Pittsburgh-centric bracket poll. So it has been doing battle. What we were doing is we had the big Jagoff poll, which is our overnight poll, which you had 24 hours to vote on. And then we had our in-show Lil Jagoff poll, which you could only vote on during the show. Now, what's been happening for the last few weeks is the ones that have been voting on in-show stuff, they've been doing battle to try to earn a spot in the big Jagoff poll. And we, about a week ago today, actually, we had an overnight Jagoff poll that was for the ages, right? It was the pierogi race versus the Fort Duquesne inbound insanity of the traffic pattern, right? So one of our producers, Pete Spinda, isn't here this week, and he never showed us how to update the voting system in our website for the overnight poll, and we haven't been able to get in touch with him. And he hasn't given us any passwords or anything like that. You know what we should have probably done, Dave, is hollered at the hacker who hacked us a couple of weeks ago. The hacker apparently got into the system. So we don't really have we don't have an answer for you. We don't have results for you. Also, no votes have been tallied. So we're going to carry this one over, and hopefully over the weekend we will get it live, and we'll get back to the big Jagoff poll then. But I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you that the Jagoff poll is brought to you by Engine House 25 Wines, right? If you go to eh25.com is the website, you will see a killer selection of wines. They have some of the best wine that you're going to have pretty much anywhere. I will put it up against any bottle that you've got. I mean, don't bring some 2007 French whatever against me, like $7,000 a bottle. I'm talking this wine will go up against anything. They've got about 8 or 9 different reds, including blends, ready at the Engine House right now. They also have a Chardonnay and a Rosé. And as you can see here, it also houses the Roberto Clemente Museum, which is about to have a great big fundraiser right now. Actually, this reminds me, that happy birthday label just makes me think. Tonight is Dwayne Reeder, the owner and operator of Engine House 25 Winery and the overseer of the Roberto Clemente Museum. Tonight is his birthday. So what we should do to wish Dwayne a big happy birthday is go to eh25.com, buy yourself a bottle of Engine House wine, and tell them that you found out about it through Alone Together Pittsburgh. You'll receive $5 off per bottle. That is not per case. That is $5 off per bottle. They also have curbside. You can pay for it in advance. They will come out, gloves and masks, the whole nine. Bring it right to the trunk of your car and you're on your way. And in specific areas in Pittsburgh, they are doing free delivery during this pandemic. So check out eh25.com. And also, while you're at it, look up the Roberto Clemente Museum online. They've got a fundraiser coming up, and it is the fundraiser is outstanding. The auction and is there's a lot of stuff going on there. They had a teaser about somebody who's going to be a part of the fundraiser, and it was Eddie Vedder. So check that out. But wait, is that Eddie Vedder right now? Oh no, Dave, man, you sounded just like Eddie Vedder. I thought it was him. So what I want to do now is throw this over to you, my friend. Dave, we have an in-show poll right now. This is only on a Friday, only to cap off our 25th week of doing 3 to 4 episodes a week, where we have, this is an iconic Pittsburgh poll. Dave.
It's a quarter century. It is a quarter century. 25. That's a quarter. We got a quarter, a big, shiny quarter. We got to make it hot. And you know what? I think tonight makes up for everything else that happened. Our inability to get this stupid pierogi to go against the GD Duquesne Bridge. How freaking complicated is it? Much more complicated than we ever expected. But tonight's Jag-Off is something classic. Something Patrick said, I want to bring something classic to you. You know, it's Dwayne's birthday from number 25, Engine House Wines. I want to make something real classy for you. And this is, by far, the classiest Jag, Pittsburgh. This one, take it to your heart intravenously. Here we go. All right, that's the wrong clip.
Okay, that's the wrong clip. But do you want to tell them what it is or just show what it is?
I think we just show them. I think showing's better than telling. What do you think?
Okay, show the one, and then we'll tell the other. There are 2 advertisements.
You just told them.
I told him that, but go.
Go!
You guys want a beer commercial?
You tell him, Ray.
You take a couple of guys, swing it a 10. No, let's make it a 20-pound sledgehammer all day long.
So
show them where you get
so
these.
before we go,
Got it, Ray.
You don't get these sitting around.
I was thinking that. Well, we're thinking.
Show them what a man is. Drinking his iron, not a bunch of airheads sitting around on a beach.
Iron City beer. There's a little iron in all of us.
It's a Berg thing.
Dave, you got to run it again from the beginning.
I know you were talking. Who are you talking to? You talking to me?
I don't know what was happening. I was on the screen.
Yeah, no, it's like a new thing. I'm seeing I think the commercial is there, but now I think they changed it up, so now you can talk over video, so just be aware of that.
I'm sorry.
Just
Okay, so
that's
run
new
it
tonight.
Run it again. I'm sorry, guys.
All right, here we go. They saw it. I think we're cool.
But
We'll
I
bring
talked
it back.
over it. I talked over it.
But it was good. All right, whatever, here it is.
You guys want a beer commercial?
You tell him, Ray.
You take a couple of guys, swing it a 10. No, let's make it a 20-pound sledgehammer all day long. Show them where you get these.
You got it, Ray.
You don't get these sitting around petting kitty cats. Show them what a man is. Drinking his iron, not a bunch of airheads sitting around on a beach.
Iron City beer. There's a little iron in all of us.
It's a Berg thing.
All right. Hopefully you saw it, because I once again, I didn't see the beginning again. So I'm going to trust you that it was there and hope that people at home got to see the whole "you tell 'em Ray" part, because that's what I didn't get to hear it. I'm hoping it came across. The "you tell 'em Ray." So that was when Iron City put it out to the audience to give us your concepts for your best commercials, and that was the best one that came. And they did a few, but that was the iconic one. You don't get these by sitting around petting kitty cats. You tell him, Ray. Sorry, that was just a good one on my end. Didn't age well, is what Donna was saying, and she's probably right. If I had seen the whole thing instead of just the last 4 seconds of it, I might agree with you. Dave,
Talking about us.
She's right there too. Dave, take it to the second one. So that was an Iron City Brewing commercial from, I believe it was the 90s, late 80s, and that was a killer. It's iconic. People still talk about it. Dave, give him number 2.
Number 2. Here we go.
You what I'm doing? I'm chilling down a half barrel of Iron City beer. This is a secret of keeping it chilled. You know, a lot of my friends say, Al, why do you drink draft? I'll tell you why. It has a taste of its own. Oh, by the way, the reason a lot of people don't use draft at home, they think it's a lot of bother. But it's not. It's so simple. The only thing you need is a picnic pump. And these are available at your favorite distributor. I like to show how easy it is. First, take off this plastic cap. Next, insert the 2 prongs. Tighten it down, hand tight, and you're ready to pour. Thanks, honey.
When you're really ready to pour it on, pour on the iron.
I feel like a king again.
That commercial is ridiculous. I mean, we can't even start to break it down. But
Yes, we can. I'm declaring this a not safe for work show because both of those commercials were completely inappropriate.
I don't remember what the dialogue was from the first one because I didn't get to hear it, but I did catch the last 10 seconds.
It was like a 90s Nine Inch Nails video with a guy.
Oh, really?
He's got a dialect. It's like when aliens come to your town and they pretend like they're normal human beings. That's Ray. Because it's like he sort of sounds like a Yinzer accent, but like otherwise. And then there's that industrial harmonic cling sound. It's like a big bondage commercial. I'm waiting for the making out to start. That's all.
Okay, so the second one though with the pump.
It's like a crazy guy got the camera. It's like, oh, we're gonna make a commercial. Here, set up the camera, load it with film, and then a guy snuck off with the camera, and then it's fine because he's married to what's her face from Ghostbusters, Sigourney Weaver. So it's fine.
The redheaded Sigourney Weaver shows up for no apparent reason. Just shows up.
So
in
cool.
in all her glory. What do you say? Like, thanks, honey. And then he was like, hey, it's beer. And then he actually started laughing. That was that's a good one. Okay, so you guys get to vote at home. It's You Tell Him Ray versus, what do we call in the second one?
Keg Tapper. Voting starts now. Facebook people only. Sorry, podcast listeners. Sorry, YouTubers. Come on to Facebook if you want to vote.
All right, get it going there right now. Those iconic commercials. I want to thank Mike McSorley. Actually, posted one of those on Facebook, and got me to really triggered it in my head. So that's why we put it up there. So it's all on him. All right,
it's like an Iron City fetish films, little tiny little
two
pieces
of them.
art.
Well, they don't make Iron City in Pittsburgh anymore. So I mean, we could save the rest of the Iron City talk for when Day gets here. He's the authority on beer. But that'll be later on in the show. I just want to say a couple of things here right now before we get into our first guest. And it is the fact that, Allegheny County, the COVID numbers were at like 101 yesterday. I think they were like 98 today. So we're trending back. We were in the 60s for a few days, and we're kind of bouncing back there. We need to, lock it down here. And everyone across the board, please just tell your friends, whatever, just wear the mask, okay? The social distancing thing, okay, we're doing that, but it's not political. You don't have to act like you don't need to have mask shaming, especially in your families, especially in crossing the street. If someone is wearing a mask, that means they care about you, okay? The mask isn't really protecting them, okay? So don't be a jag, just put on a mask, okay? And I mean, I'll say this, and then I'll tell one little story, but Bruce Springsteen said it best.
Put on a fucking mask.
Wasn't ready for that one.
Okay, so good. Did it play at all, or did you just mute me?
It's totally playing. I checked on the Facebook. We're all good with the vid,
good. Yeah,
Patrick.
I'm so confused here right now. So that's
Trust in the process.
Today, I tried to have an outing with my family, which we have not done a lot of. We have been seriously, we were still pretty much in red for all this time. We had like maybe some yellow-ish stuff, but we were pretty much still locked down, even though that, Allegheny County went to green and then went back to yellow and kind of like the in-between yellow, olive, baby poop color of COVID. that we're actually at right now. So we went to the zoo today. That's right, we're currently that. So we went to the Pittsburgh Zoo today, which we love. We went there once before during the when they had the drive-through thing where you just stay in your car and you got to drive around the track. So we went to it. It says on the website you have to wear masks. It's mandatory. So we got there. They hadn't. We were there kind of early, like around 11 o'clock. They hadn't started distancing the lines to get in, right? So people were still kind of crammed in. You had to ask people to step away, blah, 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 blah. But a lot of the people were wearing masks. On the PA system, they were telling people that you have to wear a mask if you're going to be in the zoo. But once we got into the zoo, it was definitely an optional thing, which was disappointing to me. And I did not see a lot of employees at the zoo enforcing the fact that people needed to do that. And what I couldn't get over thinking is, so I'm there, I have my 2-year-old and my wife there. We're wearing masks. Actually, my 2-year-old had her mask on. Dave, just run this clip. Okay, there you go. It's zoomed in there. There you go. There's my daughter and I. She kept her mask on the entire time we were there. She's 2, okay? She didn't take her mask off. If it came down, we pulled it up. She was cool with that. There were adults there that weren't keeping their mask on. The noses were out. They were pulling them down around their jaws. And if you're walking around and no one else is around, I get it. Okay, you think you need a break or whatever. But when you're up on top of people, pressed up against glass, or sneak up behind people and have your mask out, there were lots of noses hanging out of guys' masks. It was unnerving. And I know people are going to do what they're going to do, and you can't stop them from doing it. But it's screwing it up for everybody. Right? So, I mean, like the majority of the people that were there, respectful, wearing their masks, doing the distancing, parents with their kids. But there were groups of people that didn't even have masks. I'm talking like families of 10 with 10-year-old kids or more, going up to like adults, not even like masks around their neck, not in their pockets, just no mask. And I saw them 5 or 6 different times. And it was enough it just drives me crazy, and it makes it like I can't go out. So maybe I'm going crazy or not, but I think there's something to be said for people just getting over the political nature of this shit, or being adult enough to take care of it, or don't go out. You know what I mean? Or if you're not going to wear your mask, okay, that's great. Stay home. Stay home. But you don't have to do that. You still see videos every day of people screaming about their freedoms, going into, I go into this restaurant, I don't have to wear a mask, it's my freedoms. No, dude, the owner of the restaurant says you have to wear your mask. That's cool. I know the government can't really, they're not really breaking it down. Holt was on last night. He's in Canada to quarantine for 2 weeks. If he leaves his apartment, the front desk person calls the cops on you, and it's a $750,000 fine punishable by 6 months in prison if you break quarantine in Canada. I think they're taking it seriously. We can do this. This is an adult. We can all be adults here. That's me. That's all I got. I could go on this all day. I've been doing this for 83 episodes. I've been saying the same crap every day. So if you could do me a favor, tell your friends and everybody that just to wear the mask, and we can get through this so much faster. This whole thing should have taken 5 or 6 weeks. If a 2-year-old can do it, what are you complaining about? All right, that's all I got. And props to my daughter for keeping that mask on. I never thought she could do it. All right, so we're gonna move on here right now. We've got a great show for you tonight lined up. I want you to remember to keep voting on those 2 Iron City commercials, which apparently were more erotic to Dave than I remembered them. But that's cool. But up first, we have Natalie Bencivenga with a very special 5 Minutes With.
Hey everyone, I'm Natalie Bencivenga, host of 5 Minutes With, and I am so honored and thrilled to have one of my absolute favorite people in the world with me today, the beautiful and amazing Gisele Fetterman, who is also the Second Lady of Pennsylvania. I need like an applause track at that moment. Thank you so much for joining me.
Of course, I'm so happy to see you.
I'm so happy to see you too, and I love it when we coordinate. It's my favorite. So Gisele, you are invested in so many different and amazing movements here around the city and in the larger state of PA as well. But really lately, I've noticed you've been taking a much firmer stance about gun safety. And I'd love for people to understand more about this initiative and what you've been working on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I have 3 young kids who pre-pandemic went on a lot of play dates and sleepovers, and I want them to have a really full social life. And, when you go to someone's home, they would ask, do they have any dietary restrictions? So I'd say, well, my kids are vegetarian. Or maybe there's a peanut allergy, right? These are important things we discuss, but I think something that was really left out of the conversation was, is there a gun in that home? And is that gun unlocked? And will my kids or your kids have access to that? So I've been doing a lot of work with Be Smart, PA, it's besmartforkids.org, and they're helping break down these, what used to be, I think, difficult conversations, but really normalizing them. We should be asking, is there a gun in your home? Is it locked? Right? These are things we should ask, just like we should reveal that our child may have a peanut allergy. Both things could take a life. And we should be more open to speaking about them.
So really, you're looking at this from more of a public health perspective.
Absolutely. Like, there are 4.6 million children that live in homes right now that have at least one gun that is stored loaded and unlocked. That is incredibly dangerous and scary statistic. And in Pennsylvania alone, if you look at our numbers, just this year we had over 13 children that were killed just in our state because of a firearm that was home and they had access to it. So these were 13 deaths that could have been prevented.
My goodness. And, I was reading some statistics recently, and they were talking about how since kids have not been attending schools, obviously school shootings have sort of fallen off the wayside. And it just sort of broke my heart, the idea that that is the reason, because of COVID, right? We've replaced almost one public health issue for another. And now you're starting to see people bringing guns to protests. Does this make you nervous for the state of things and where things are going?
It does. It's really scary. And, when we looked at being in these home orders, all these stay-at-home orders, we have to realize that a lot of kids, the school may have been their safe place, right? We know that suicide thoughts have increased in young people. We know that dangerous situations have increased. The pandemic has really elevated so much of this existing stress. And if you're home now, 24 hours a day, in a home that now has an unloaded gun, the chances of something really bad happening have increased that much more.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And while gun safety is something that you've been focused on recently, you have also taken it upon yourself. I call you the Mother Teresa of Pittsburgh in the most loving way possible, because you have your hands in all kinds of incredible initiatives that really uplift and support communities. What motivates and drives you to do so much in not only Pittsburgh, but across Pennsylvania?
I mean, I'm really grateful that I get to live in this country and that I get to live in a place that's safe, and everyone should live in a place that's safe from gun violence. And that's something that we can all do. And, you read about these things happen nationally, but they're happening close to home. We lost a 1-year-old baby who was just killed in this past month in Pittsburgh. We lost a 7-year-old in Philly last month. I mean, these are our children, right? This isn't that child. These are all our children. And this is something that we can all have an impact in. So, I try to think of what can leave the next generation better off, and what can I put my energy into? And that's what I try to focus on.
I think that's beautiful. In terms of gun safety, what is it that people that might be watching this right now, what is it that they can do? How can they activate to be more proactive about gun safety?
Absolutely. I think one thing is normalizing these conversations. I think the more we talk about it, you're going to remove the stigma around the discomfort. So I know the first time I asked a parent if they had a gun in their home, they were a little offended and they were taken back. And I think they sat with it and they came back and were like, I'm sorry I had that bad reaction, but no one had ever asked me that before. But now I ask other parents when I take my kids to their home. So what we can do to normalize that, I would love that every school night when you're registering kids, they're asking, do you have a gun at home? Right. Is it loaded? And here is a gun lock. We're working with Be Smart for Good. We'll be having an event September 25th where we'll be distributing gun locks for free. I carry gun locks at the free store. So increasing those conversations, amplifying it, normalizing that we should be talking about these things.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I've always admired about you is you always look at things through the lens of compassion and recognizing people where they are and just trying to get them to open their minds to doing something maybe a little different or approaching a situation a little differently with empathy. And I think that's really something that you've just shown me that can be done in our communities, which I find incredible. And before we wrap up, I just wanted to add, I know you have so many other projects happening, but you have something fun happening pretty soon, if you'd like to plug that and talk about it.
Oh, sure. We're doing an event through For Good for our essential workers. And I don't have the date by heart, but maybe you can add it at the end, where, you know, you have all worked so hard really keeping Pennsylvania running. A big part of that are women. They're really the ones that are at the forefront. Who have kept Pennsylvania open as much as possible during this pandemic. So it's kind of this, we partnered with Banana Republic, and they provided all this amazing new clothing, and we're going to have stylists get basically new wardrobes for these folks that have worked so hard for us.
I think that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Gisele, for taking 5 minutes with me. You know that I am always so inspired by the work that you're doing in our community, and I just think you are the best. So I hope you'll come back and share with me some more things that you're working on in the future.
Well, thank you so much. I love you.
I love you too. Bye.
Awesome. Yeah, that's
Isn't
great.
she the best? I love her.
Gisele Fetterman is actually the best.
Yes.
It's
true. If you look up the best in the dictionary,
it's her picture.
It's her photo.
I'm serious. Like her picture might be on the cover of the dictionary and say, you know, see best page, you know,
exactly
216.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, and it's when she talks about it, it seems so obvious, right? But I hadn't thought about that.
No, that was not even a conversation in my mind that I was thinking about having with someone. And then when I started seeing her doing a lot of stuff on her Instagram lately with Be Smart PGH, I was really inspired to reach out. And it got me thinking about my old days as a social worker. And the more I thought about it, I was like, wow, you know, I remember walking into a lot of homes. I worked with children with severe mental health, and I walked into homes, and how many times I used to see guns laying out or rifles against the door and things like that. And it all kind of came rushing back to me that this is very common. And I think it's one of those conversations that if you're not seeing it or experiencing it in your life, you may not realize how many people just openly leave weapons in their homes. So I think it's really important that we normalize and destigmatize talking about it, and provide ways for people to store their weapons more safely so that children can't have access to them and accidentally be hurt. So it was a really important conversation.
Yeah, and it's such a practical thing to do. I mean, literally, when she talks about kids with peanut allergies and gluten allergies and all that stuff, basically we talk about everything that could be wrong. If the kid gets a drip in one eye, we have to do this. Like, everybody knows everything, but that's a question that could be quick, life and death.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things too, where this isn't an issue that needs to be polarized. You know, no matter who you are, a lot of people own guns in the United States on all different parts of the political spectrum. So this really is a conversation that everybody needs to be having. And like I said in the video, I just love the way that she always tries to approach things with empathy, because I think you attract people a lot more to conversation when you do so with an open heart and not attack people. You know, that doesn't really, as we've seen, that doesn't usually work as well.
Yeah, it's not going well for a big swath of the country right now.
No, but I am excited for the event on the 16th. So that's going to be at the Hollander in Braddock. I'm actually going to be one of the stylists, and I believe that Eileen will also be a stylist, which I'm stoked about. And how cool was that? The idea of giving wardrobes to these amazing essential workers, you know, people that take care of the mail, and our teachers and nurses and all of the incredible people and grocery workers that have just kept this machine going during such an incredibly difficult time. It's going to be really fun. That's going to be like a really fun day to be a part of. So I was super excited that she was doing that. So that's on the 16th of September.
That's exciting. We'll be talking about that more, I think, when we get closer to it. So what else is going on? What else has happened with you in the last week?
So can I do a little humble brag?
I think you should.
Okay. So last night they announced the Golden Quills, which is part of I know, and this podcast that I've produced and hosted with Kim Lyons, who's another incredible journalist in Pittsburgh. We won for our podcast.
Golden Quill.
Yeah.
Oh, the hits keep coming.
And it was pretty cool because I forgot that we had been nominated. So I remembered last night, and I was I was really excited, Patrick. So that was
that's
that
fantastic.
was pretty neat.
I mean,
Yeah.
so is the Golden Quill? I mean, do they usually have like a banquet and a thing in non-COVID
Yes, well,
times?
okay, so this
It's
is
usually
like-
like a thing, right?
Yeah, it's usually a thing. And of course, this year, everything is not a thing. But they did have like a virtual celebration and they were streaming it. And my co-host, Kim, she happened to catch it and she sent me a screenshot. And she literally tuned in like 2 seconds before our names were announced, which was just perfect timing. So it was pretty cool.
Well,
So if, by the way, now that means because I have radio experience. So if there's like a position open in the
Everybody's
community right now for a radio job, I don't know.
I mean, I
Putting it out
think
there.
there might be an opening
Yeah, there could be.
at KDKA.
Have you heard that too?
I think they might be looking
They
for
could be.
someone that fits your credentials.
Profile here.
I think your profile. I think you might slip right in there without anyone noticing.
People may not notice right away.
People might not notice that anything has changed except for
Until I start
everything
talking.
everything will have changed.
Except everything will change. Can we just talk about that for like
Go
a
ahead.
minute?
Go ahead. We got a minute. Go
This
for it.
whole like Wendy Bell debacle. Because I just have to say, I've done KDK radio so many times and I've guest hosted and done all that good stuff with them. And I just don't understand what they were thinking when they had hired her after she had lost her previous gig for making racist remarks. What do you think was going through somebody's head when they're like, let's do that?
I'm thinking ratings. I'm thinking they were looking for. I'm thinking it's a shock jock to the next level, right? I
It's like a race to the bottom.
Yeah. By covering race poorly. I don't understand what it was, but what's happened now is after they, they suspended her indefinitely, or they basically let her go and said the show was over when they started losing lots of sponsors. I mean, so now
that's always what it takes.
But now, yeah, that's what it takes. But now there's like a bar set. Okay, you have to be that bat shit crazy and say some of them that outlandish stuff and start doing Yosemite Sam stuff and about killing people. If you want to lose your job at KDK, so if you get that gig, man, you'll be doing that till you're 70.
I could be like there forever.
I mean, you could be there. You could be there like you could be well into your 90s.
It's so true. I was not surprised on the one hand that happened, but I honestly, Wendy Bell, all kidding aside, she has had a really long career in media. You'd think she'd know enough to not go there. You know what I mean?
I think she went for it all. It's like the Tony Montana syndrome, at the end of Scarface. It's kind of like, she went for it all, and it all came out because, I know people like years ago that did, work on her house and stuff like that and said she was the sweetest lady, great mom, like super kind. And then all of a sudden with the last gig, they were like, wow, who is this? And then what is this? Is this a show? Is this an act? And then it just got to the point where it was like doubling down every day. Well, and it was for a good while. This wasn't like she just got the job last week.
No, and that's a really good point because I think when you continually push the boundaries of what you can say and get away with, where else can it lead? Because you have to keep one-upping your crazy every time. And so I guess this was the only place that this was going to end. But to me, it's just like, what a pathetic ending to her career. But some people are saying maybe she did this on purpose, like Fox News is going to pick her up. I don't know.
Well, she's looking, you thought her career, you can't say it's the end of her career though. Because,
no, you can't. You're right.
Because
you're right.
You people said that
maybe
before. It might not even be here.
I know.
They said that before. She's not new to this. So yeah, the things that she was saying, spouting a lot of conspiracy theories and a lot of craziness. And KDKA is not exactly known for that level of whatever. It's one of the first radio stations in the world, in the country, in the world.
Right. I know, and that I think was like a big bruise for them to have somebody like her and this embarrassment, knowing that they are part of legacy media. But I don't know, Patrick.
It was crazy watching it. It was you said she's won a Golden Quill.
Thank you.
She's 40 under 40.
Thank you.
You got to hold every. She's won in a million award. Come on, this is all just since the pandemic. Which we just give Natalie a bump. I mean, I'm sure she'll still she'll still do Alone Together on Fridays. Come on.
You guys can't get rid of me that easy.
All right. Well, anyway, Natalie, thank you so much. If there's nothing else I can't wait to see you come up with next week. Enjoy. Hopefully you get a couple of days off to enjoy the big win.
Yes.
All right. The
big
golden
win?
quill. The golden quill. My God,
I've already
Natalie.
moved on to the next.
Follow me here. The big win. You want to, it's a golden quill.
I love you, Patrick.
Oh, get
You're
out of
the
here.
best.
All right.
Mwah.
All right.
I'll see you guys next week.
All right, see you next week. And also, don't forget, Natalie, in addition to being awesome at everything else, she's a nationally syndicated advice columnist. If you go to asknatalieadvice@gmail.com, you can ask some questions, and she will get back to you. Thanks so much, Natalie. Congratulations on the Golden Quill. So tune in next Friday for another installment of Natalie Bencivenga's 5 Minutes With. We got to get her a Golden Quill for 5 Minutes With. That's the campaign for next year. So I don't know if we're still going to be doing this in 12 months. God, I hope not. But that's awesome. But before we bring out our next guest, give him the cue, Dave. I want to talk about another sponsor of ours, Red Start Roasters. Red Start Roasters is a local coffee roaster that is the only bird-friendly coffee roaster in the Pittsburgh area. And if you go to redstartroasters.com using the coupon code TOGETHERPGH, you'll receive 10% off your order. And Red Star Roasters is continuing their promise to do free delivery in the Pittsburgh area during the pandemic. And that is still going on, even though we're green. Red Star Roasters is still delivering free, much like Engine House 25 Winery. They're both sticking it to you. So Red Star Roasters, EH25.com. Remember those things. And the Red Star Roasters code is TOGETHERPGH, which is also our Venmo. So you can buy some coffee, get 10% off, and take that 10% and kick it into the show. That would be awesome. Give the show also to let you know we have a little bit of slot there. If you're looking to sponsor Alone Together Pittsburgh, you can get with us at togetherpgh@gmail.com, and you can kick in, and we have some different sponsorship packages if you'd like to join us and support us in that respect. So thank you very much in that light. Hey, Dave. Before we bring out Dave Bracey from an awesome new location, do we want to do a check-in on the Iron City old school commercial off? Okay, it's 50-50. You tell him, Ray, and the keg tapper.
Boom, 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 boom. We'll run the winner at the end just so you can turn the lights down low and get groovy with Iron City.
Okay, well, we got more people watching than have voted, so get in there and get going.
Welcome to the show. Please do your part and vote in this poll. Tell him Ray versus Keg Tapper.
This is getting you ready for November. Okay, so is Day ready? Do we have eyes on Day?
He looks ready. He looks ready.
Check this out.
I think he's positioning himself.
Okay, Dave's positioned himself. This is coming from a special location. He is on location at Hop Farm. All right, they just dropped a collab, and he's going to tell us about it in addition to some other things. Please welcome Day Bracey. Day.
What's good with y'all?
How are you, buddy?
What's good with y'all? Y'all missed me last week. Fuck Donald Trump.
We missed you. We missed you saying that, and we missed you coming on last week. So desperately. So now you're in a nice, fluorescently lit place with a killer tablecloth. You're out. You're off of your porch. Tell us about where you are and why.
Yeah, I'm at Hop Farm. The Fresh Fest is a thing that we do, right? It's this festival, and it's all about empowering the Black community economically through the beer industry. So we pair up breweries with awesome ass Black folks to do these dope ass collaborations. Much like what is this right here? This Uncle Doug's. Just released, and this is a collab from Geist, Mac over here, and Matt over here at Hop Farm. And I feel like they're better at describing what happened or whatever. But from my understanding, Mac just got into the brewing here recently, and he's up in Buffalo. And we heard, I was like, yo, he came to the festival and really got into, met Garrett Oliver, really got into seeing the end of the industry and the opportunity therein, and really decided to put his foot into it. So now he's employed up in Buffalo at a brewery, and we were like, yo, let's keep this going. Let's help cultivate, what we're doing. So we hooked them up with Hop Farm, and they just released this dope ass beer with a great background and a story to it. So I don't know if y'all mind or whatever, but y'all want to hear it from them?
Please do. Love to.
All right. Well, let me.
How's it going?
Yeah, how's it going, man?
All right.
I know. It's tough talking with this mask on, but yeah. So I got into craft beer about 3 years ago. I started seeing like it was different styles of beer than what I was used to at like college parties and those quick barbecue crushers. And after that, I really started like saying like, yo, this is something that I'm into. It could be a hobby or be a career. So I started researching it. So a friend of mine, Andrew Harden, who's a brewer at Thin Man Brewery in Buffalo, New York, told me the story about Uncle Doug, who was basically a free slave who came to Buffalo, New York from Virginia in the 1800s. And he was a shipyard worker, but he was in the Navy. So when he came to Buffalo, he was already a free slave. He already had the Navy port background. And what he did was he opened establishment that basically was a brewery, a safe place for African American shipmen or naval workers that worked in the Navy or the shipyard, where they could come, have a drink, have food, have a place to stay. And he was the first black businessman in Buffalo, New York. So him getting established and being the first black businessman in New York, and then also having a brewery and having a place that was safe for other African Americans to either start their own business or get on their feet and get established in Buffalo was big to me. And I never heard that story. So I was like, that's pretty cool. So Drew goes on to tell me that this is around the time where the Erie Canal is functioning. But not only that, Harriet Tubman is getting slaves to Canada. And where Uncle Doug was established at, he was helping slaves get to Canada because he had a naval background. He was a shipyard worker, and he knew how to maneuver and operate boatyards, boats, and all of those things. So what I had talked to Matt about was I wanted to create a beer that was familiar with those times. So me and Matt got to talking. My favorite style of beer is an IPA.
Right.
But I had went to Canada a few months before all of this happened, and I had a black IPA. And I had never had a black IPA before that. So I did some research on that. The traditional name is called a Cascadian Dark Ale.
Oh.
I didn't want to make a beer that was 2020 or something similar like the sour, the fruit beers. I'm not talking down on those, but I wanted to create a beer that Uncle Doug would be selling back in the day, or something that he would have at his establishment back in the day. So me and Matt talked about it, and I was like, let's do a black IPA, but instead of just calling it a black IPA, let's call it the traditional name, which is a Cascadian Dark Ale. It's still a black IPA. So we went over the notes, the flavor profile. I gave Matt the ingredients that I wanted to go with. He tweaked everything to his skill, which is, it came out beautiful, man. Like he made a great beer with it. But yeah, I let him know what I wanted to do, and he understood everything fully. And what was really great about it is that Hop Farm Brewing Co. already makes a black IPA. So they were familiar with the style of beer. So me telling him, you know, this is the kind of beer that I want, they were already familiar with it. So it really came out perfect.
Nice.
I'm so satisfied with how it came out. And telling that story and letting people know that, yo, like, it was black brewers back in the day before we even knew about it. Or it was a black man that was in the industry of this whole festival and what's going on. Back in the day, this story was going on in Buffalo. We didn't even know about it. That's pretty cool. And then to be able to create something that he may have made or may have not made, it's still cool to tell that story.
No, it's magic. I mean, it's like it's catching lightning in a jar. You know, I mean, it's amazing.
And there's no photos of him, but being from Buffalo, New York.
Do me a favor, real quick. Turn your camera sideways. Turn the phone on its side. Go on horizontal. Have Dave flip that. There we go. There we see a little better now. Okay, there we can see. Oh yeah.
It's no photos of Uncle Doug, but I was like, what would it's Buffalo, so we represent Buffalo, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So we made him look like a buffalo. And what would a gentleman look like serving beer back in the day at such establishment?
Got his monocle.
Right. So
that's class right there.
Right. So his establishment not only was a safe house, but it was part of the Underground Railroad. And Harriet Tubman would bring runaway slaves to him and help them get to Canada because it's on the port of Buffalo, the harbor of Buffalo, which is right near the Peace Bridge. That's where his establishment went. So in the background, you see like this crazy map and all of this stuff, but that's where his establishment was located at. And it's a hop and skip away from Canada. So, we made Uncle Doug look like a buffalo, designed from Buffalo.
It all makes sense, but I really wish I had one right now.
Yeah, listen, Matthew did his thing because the beer fits the story, man.
Right.
Like,
I mean, how can people get their hands on this?
Come to Hop Farm in Pittsburgh. Come check them out. I'm taking some back home with me, but you got to come to Hop Farm Brewing Company. Maybe this can be something we could collaborate on again. We could do this again. But it's it was a limited run for the festival, but
that's great. Just the story behind it. I mean that sells. You know what I mean? That gets people hooked. And there's lots of beers out there, but I mean the story about it alone. I'm sure it's delicious, but the story behind it alone, it just takes you to a different place. I mean, I love it. It's a great. This is like the ideal collaboration.
Yeah, definitely. And everybody was excited about it when I told them, what I wanted to do and collaborate, because it wasn't like the typical thing. I'm not talking down on any other collaborations or anything, but this is a real story that I wanted to bring to life, and that I was so fascinated when I learned it. I learned it 2 years ago, and it's from my hometown. And for me to learn this Black history from my hometown 2 years ago, I'm 33 years old. I learned it when I was 31. It was really exciting to me, and I was like, this is something that I want to bring both worlds to, because how many times we had an opportunity to do that?
Well, it's the planets lining up. I mean, that story needs to get out, and to get it out around this beer. It's an ideal situation. It's like I said, it's catching lightning in a jar or in a can. I don't know what the ideal beer thing would be. I'm not the beer connoisseur on the show.
Yeah, no,
Dave, did you hear that? Was that a dad joke? I think I just made a dad joke.
And now the beauty of it is like, with the current state, with the whole COVID-19 thing happening, me and Matt created this via text, and it came out perfect. Like, it's not any mistakes in anything, and Thomas helped me with the artwork.
Do you think people? Do you think?
Helped me, and like everything is perfect. Everything was executed. Like, it took it back to a time where, like, when Uncle Doug was around, where you didn't have emails and you didn't have phones and stuff. We really had to go back into the day of communicating with each other the best way we could to get this done, and we did that. So that makes it even more special to me, because everything going on, this is not something that we did in person. We did this all via email and text messages, and it still came out flawless. So
right on.
That's even more to add to the story.
Day, I'm going to ask you your opinion here. Flavor palette. Talk us through the taste of this beer.
So I just had some of that. I mean, like you said, it's a black IPA. So like it has like that roasty kind of like characteristic to it. And it also has that hop as well. So like it's super dope, because I like stouts. I'm a stout. I don't know if everybody on the show already know or not, but like I'm a stout dude. So I like that roasty kind of flavor. Are those roasted hop or the who? Yeah, it's a dark grain. A dark grain. You know what I mean, so you have that, but you also have these hop characteristics. I also got the dude sitting here that made it, and he actually has much better understanding of how to. I mean,
well, there's a perfect segue.
Yeah, I mean. So what were you going for when you were like brewing it? What the flavor profile and whatnot, and are you happy with the way it came out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we talked about it, the historic side of it, but these roasted malts were, and that roasty profile was definitely something that was out there because of the way that the the malt was produced at that time. Sometimes it was over roasted, and you brewed with what you had. And like Mackenzie said, we've done black IPAs before, and this was an opportunity to make one a little more sessionable. Our normal one's about 7.5. This one's at 5.2, but it still has just a really great body. And I think combining those two things, makes it awesome.
Another beautiful thing to me was me and Matt talking about the ingredients that I wanted to do via text messages, and Matt being able to say, like, I want to adjust it this way and adjusting it, but then also noting the things that I wanted to have in the ingredients as a nice touch. Matt executed flawlessly, like how he made it. He showed me every step. He showed me everything that was going in, from the milling, everything, like gravity. He showed me everything, and like, it's perfect, man. Like, not even like tuning our own horns. It's perfect. It's perfect.
And I just want to, like, so when it comes to collaborations, typically in the brew industry, a collaboration, especially between breweries, usually they already have recipes or whatever, kind of sitting around, and then they just do what, like, fits for the time period or whatever. But like, what I really like about this collaboration and a lot of the other Fresh Fest collaborations is that, like, it's a real, like, conversation. Like, it's not just like, all right, let's do what's gonna sell best. It's like, okay, well, let's, like, how do we develop these relationships? Like, how do we actually make a mutually beneficial product? So it's not charity. Charity lasts only a little while, but mutually beneficial relationships last forever. You see what I'm saying? And then you're having this education. So like, you got a young brewer coming into this collaboration, and it's like, all right, let's not just brew something and then sell it. Let's teach. Let's, like, let's have that teaching moment. So like, what guys were saying about, like, like having that, like the process of sharing that information, that's huge. Like, we don't, like, again, we're not just here to sell beer. We're here to educate and empower.
That right there. I feel like this is Fresh Fest at its best. This is the ideal situation.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, and it's just wild because, like, this is coming together even in the time of a pandemic, which, like, and I feel like it says something about what we're doing here. It's like, it transcends it transcends convenience. Like, this wasn't easy. Like, none of what we're doing here was easy, but there was a mission, and it was necessary. So people came out and did it. You know what I mean? And Matt's been a supporter for mad years. He's been in all of the fests. Like, he came through, dropped the like, if it wasn't for him with the cooler, we wouldn't have ice at the festival last year. You know what I mean? It's really these relationships that go way beyond just that day of. And I'm very proud of all the things that are happening and the people that I get to just be around sometimes. So super excited, man.
Well, that's awesome, man. Well, thanks for sharing that. This is great. This is a nice surprise for us. We didn't know we were going to be there when the show started tonight. Otherwise, we'd have given you guys a little more pre-show hype. But this is great. Nice bonus for people there. So check this out. Check out Hop Farm. Go out there and get after it. Day, before we wrap things up, I think you got something coming up with Drinking Partners coming up this week with City Theater.
Yeah, so we got the drive-in show next week. This Saturday coming up, we got the drive-in show. So, down at City Theater, they're going, it's cars. Hopefully people aren't going to get out and make out. You know what I mean? Like, that's the hope.
Wait. Hopefully they are, or they are not.
Hopefully they don't get out and make out. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully they'll just stay in their cars and enjoy the comedy. But it's as COVID friendly of a situation that we can make it. Shout out to City Theater for progressing the arts even through the pandemic and coming up with creative ways. Samantha Bentley.
And that's a Hazelwood Green.
And Samantha, I don't know, like, she's up for the best comedian in the city. Whether she wins or not, she's the best comedian in the city. And this is coming from a comedian. So, like, if you missed that show, I don't know what you thought you were doing that was going to be better than that. But I would go just for her, not for me, not for Ed, not for City Theater. I would go for Samantha Bentley, to be quite honest. So I'm super excited because I'm a fan, and like that's what I like. I appreciate what I get to do is that I get to just be around people that I'm a fan of. So next week I'm gonna have the mic for a little while, but mostly I'm gonna just be enjoying Samantha doing what she does. So if you look at that, like, it's like $25 as tickets. It's like You can come in with your car full of folks, and it's online at I don't know, Google City Theater. I don't know.
We got the links up on the page here right now. You can get them all right here.
It's a collaboration right there.
That's right. We move fast. We have Dave Mansueto in the booth. He's the best in the business.
Nice.
He's pulling switches. Go ahead.
Also, before we get out of here, I also want to shout out Boom Concepts on that label right here. Yeah, I mean that label design. Yeah, I mean that it doesn't. Again, this is like all of the Fresh Fest collaborations are designed by Black artists. Yeah, I mean, so I shout out. I mean, it takes a community to raise a festival, man. So I just want to shout them out. And if anybody's listening and they're looking for ways, there it is. Look at Dave out there. Yeah, I mean, on top of his deed, even on the Audible, he came through. I fucks with him for that. But yeah, man, shout out to Boom Concept. Support
we're fans
them,
of Boom.
Like without Boom, there's not a lot of Black art here in this city, man. Like it struggles. So I'm very appreciative of them. Shout out to Hot Farm. Shout out to Geis over here doing the thing. And like I said, if you want to catch us, we'll be next week down at City Theater.
Man, thanks so much. We got the link on there. We got some graphics popping up here. That's amazing that City Theater decided to do that and take it outside of the spectrum of just theater. You know what I mean? Bring it into the whole different community thing. Is this going to be your first time on the mic? Is this your first stand up in the pandemic?
Yeah, so I haven't been on stage since February 29th, man.
Wow.
So I don't even know if I'm funny anymore. Like, yeah, I mean, so you might just get 15 minutes of me crying and in front of a bunch of cars. Like, I don't.
That's meta, bro. That's meta. People are gonna be thrilled to see something real. So if it's you just crying, like if you just have like a total breakdown after your first joke, just like knock. If you like start breaking down, just go knock knock. Who's there? You know what I mean? Just start telling that kind of stuff. It'll be fine. People will love it. People love you.
I appreciate it again. I appreciate the community and again. I appreciate y'all for what y'all been doing. How many weeks y'all been doing this?
This is 25. We're wrapping week 25 in a row without a break. 3 to 4 shows a week.
I don't think this is going anywhere. Even when the pandemic is over, I just don't see this going anywher, man. Y'all
man, I don't know, man. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, who knows when the pandemic will be over? Other places are kicking it, so hopefully we get around to it. If people keep wearing masks as well as you do, I think we'll be all right.
No new noses, man. No new noses, man. Keep that covered, bruh.
I don't get what the big deal is with that part of it. I don't know. It's just people need to do something. It's like, I don't know. I went off on it earlier in the show. I don't need to do it again. But Dave, thank you very much. Thank everybody for coming on and telling us that story is fantastic. Is that up on the website?
Yeah, I got that on the website. Hot Farm. It'll be on the Fresh Fest app tomorrow.
Great.
It'll be on the website.
Great.
All that up tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, get
fantastic.
that, and you can hotfarm.com as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Dave, and thank everybody over at Hop Farm.
Thank you, folks, man. Stay safe. Mask up.
All right, folks. That was fantastic. Look at us on the road. So today this week we've been all over the place. We were at Hop Farm today. We got the sneak peek at the new Square Cafe in East Liberty on Wednesday. Yesterday we were kind of in an apartment in Canada, I guess, where Holt was quarantining. But anyway, that wraps up our 25th week. I think there's only one thing left to do, and that is to announce the winner of the in-show Jagoff poll, the Engine House 25 Jagoff poll. Dave, let's hear what happened. Please tell me it's not a tie. Oh, tell him, Ray, beat Keg Tapper? Oh, it's a crime. It's a travesty. But all right. Tell him Ray pulls it out. Dave, I can't hear you if you're talking, buddy.
Who, me? You talking about me?
Yeah, buddy. So
I got nothing to say.
You wanted to run the Keg Tapper clip again, didn't you?
I got my finger on it.
I tell you what we'll do. Let's run them both one more time, then go right into the credits.
I want to hear that guy. I want to hear that guy talk about how you gotta put the ice all over and just rub it around a little bit.
We're gonna go through this one more time. Before we do that, Dave, would it be cool if I told everybody at home about what Liam Neeson, friend of Holt McCallany, would tell you if you weren't going to wear a mask or not.
Wear a mask.
Cuts the visibility.
I already know what you look like.
Just letting that one sink in.
Was it there?
It was totally sorry. You're still not seeing that stuff.
I'm still not seeing any of it. All right,
yeah.
so that's it. We're just gonna let Liam Neeson run it home. Let's go. One thing in honor of Dave Bracey. Just say what Sally Wiggin would tell people if they weren't wearing a mask walking down the street.
Hey everybody, this is Sally.
Yeah, wait, come on. All right, buddy. Seriously, is it playing or no? Or do you just not have it?
Yeah. This is Yes.
Screw it. Forget it.
Bring it in. I'm bringing it.
Don't bring it. Let's just.
When I walk out and there's someone without a mask and they come too close to me, I'm just racked with fear, and then I want to punch them in the face.
Not safe for work, Sally.
Okay, great. So check this out. Since I couldn't see it or know what happened, could you do me a favor? Thank you all for coming out. What we're going to do is I'm going to sign off. We're going to run the 2 commercials, then roll right into the credits. We will be back this Wednesday coming up at 8 o'clock. We've got great people lined up for next week. We've got the return of Davu is going to be here. We also are going to have Natalie, Day, and some other fantastic guests. You want to tune in, 8 o'clock. Check us out. Follow us on Facebook. Like us on the YouTube. Follow us, group us, Twitter as well. We're all over the place. Thank you all very much. Stay safe. Wear your mask. Here's 2 classic Iron City commercials.
You guys want a beer commercial?
You tell them, Ray.
You take a couple of guys, swing it a 10. No, let's make it a 20-pound sledgehammer all day long. Show them where you get these.
You got it, Ray.
You don't get these sitting around petting kitty cats. Show them what a man is. Drinking his iron. Not a bunch of airheads sitting around on a beach.
Iron City Beer. There's a little iron in all of us.
It's a Berg thing.
You know what I'm doing? I'm chilling down a half barrel of Iron City beer. This is a secret of keeping it chilled. You know, a lot of my friends say, Al, why do you drink draft? I'll tell you why. It has a taste of its own. Oh, by the way, the reason a lot of people don't use draft at home, they think it's a lot of bother. But it's not. It's so simple. The only thing you need is a picnic pump. And these are available at your favorite distributor. I like to show how easy it is. First, take off this plastic cap. Next, insert the 2 prongs. Tighten it down, hand tight, and you're ready to pour. Thanks, honey.
When you're really ready to pour it on the iron.
I feel like a king again.